Good morning. It's about 8:15 on Tuesday morning. We woke up to a pretty peaceful but entirely overcast day. We do have winds out of the southwest as predicted. The forecast still has it building over the day, but it's kind of moderate at the moment. 5 to 10, we'd say. Later it's supposed to be 10 to 15 with gusts to 20. So we have left Montauk Harbor. I got up pretty early this morning, had plenty of time to read the paper and catch up on stuff that no one wants to know about. And made our way out of the harbor after a leisurely breakfast. And we're on our way to Point Judith. So that's about 25 miles. We're doing about 4 knots at the moment, set up wing on wing. So I'll show you that. So that's the 135 Genoa that I have flying, not the UPS. If I thought the conditions were going to stay as they are currently, I might put up the UPS. I don't think there's too much wind for it. But since the winds are supposed to build, I'm going to take the cautious approach and stick to the Genoa. I think our speed will increase and we'll get to Port Judith in good time. So now it would be nice to see some sun. It's just after 10 now, and things are progressing as expected. The winds have built some, and I was starting to get nervous, especially about the mainsail. Reefing the main can be an exercise, and I didn't want to get forced into it at some inopportune moment. So I decided that I'd sail under the Genoa alone and reef the main entirely. If something goes squirrely, it's always easy to reef the Genoa. Well, that's where we are. We have about 18 miles left to go. Our speed is all over the place, but we're doing somewhere between 3 and 4, I think. So we should get there still in pretty good time. It's just afternoon, and nothing really has changed, which at least means that it hasn't gotten any worse. So the wind has not continued to build. I'd still say it's 10 to 15, but I don't think we're getting any gusts to 20, like the forecast said. So one change I did make is, since we're only flying the head sail, I decided it made more sense to fly it on the leeward side, where it would naturally want to end up anyway. I'm still using the pole to stabilize it, but and actually after I got it over there, I didn't really notice much difference in the way the boat performed, but you can't tell unless you try these things. The only other thing that's going on is my chart plotter app on on my iPad will give me my speed, and if I set up a destination waypoint, it'll tell me my ETA to get there. But it like recalculates those things once a second, so it fluctuates crazily and is pretty almost useless. It also provides a distance to my target waypoint, and that it only updates it every 1/10 of a mile, so that doesn't fluctuate too widely. So I'm jotting down that distance every half hour, and then doing some calculations to get me my speed and my ETA more reasonably, less frenetically. I don't know what the word is. Anyway, so for the last half hour, our speed was 3.8 knots, and our ETA is 3 minutes after 3. We'll see how that holds. All right, time for lunch, and I will show you the current conditions, which are pretty similar to the previous conditions. It's currently about 5:15, and we are anchored in a small cove off the Point Judith pond. We actually dropped the anchor about 4. So there was this and that, of course, and then calling my wife and having a little chat. But I can go through some of the events today, and we'll do that in conjunction with taking a look at the chart. We will actually have to look at several chart pages here. So here is the chart page we used yesterday that took us from Pine Island Marina all the way down to Lake Montauk. And this morning we went out to the entrance buoy off Montauk. We actually cheated and didn't go around this buoy. We went across this shallower area, which isn't really all that shallow. It's almost 30 feet deep. But off in this direction, and this magenta line is a line that will take you to Point Judith. So we more or less followed that. So here's that same magenta line crossing Block Island Sound. And here's Block Island, so we got to look at that for most of the day, and came across to the west entrance to the Point Judith Harbor of Refuge. Now, we did have the predicted southwest winds this whole way. It says here the distance buoy to buoy is 23.4 nautical miles, so a good day's sail. The wind kept up all day and actually started to build a little late in the day. We kept up that same configuration, sailing just with the head sail right into the harbor, and we'll find a blow up of the harbor. So we sailed right in through here with a big following swell out of the southwest. And once we got into some protection, we reefed the Genoa and pulled in the whisker pole, and then went up into Point Judith Pond. Now, there can be quite a lot of current through here. I had checked beforehand and found there was going to be a knot, was what the chart said at the time I would go through. But naturally, of course, just when I got there, a ferry came out at the same time. So there's probably one ferry a day this time of year, and I hit it. Well, I didn't actually hit it, but we had to pass each other, and as I was struggling to fight the current to get in there, it was a little hairy, because some guy with 3 gigantic outboard engines on the back of his boat, needed to pass me all at about the same time that was going on. So anyway, then we had to work our way up and up and up into Point Judith Pond, which is always a process. And we came up, and when I was over here looking into this anchorage, it looked pretty smooth. I thought, well, maybe I'll just anchor there. It's easy. But when I came up around, and there were whitecaps in there. So no, we're not going to anchor there. So we came up to a place we've anchored a couple of times before, which is Cogden Cove, way up in here. And it's a lovely little spot, well protected. I came in at dead low tide, and there were places with less than 4 feet of water in through here, but about 5 feet where I'm anchored. So it's only going to get deeper from here. So I'm really liking this place. The trees in here are blocking the wind very nicely, and I guess we'll take a look around. So hopefully that showed that this is a very pretty and well protected area. It's even though it's well protected, I didn't want to talk during that little bit because I was afraid there'd be too much wind noise. But well, I think we're going to enjoy spending the night here. Tonight for dinner we have a meal that came on the boat frozen, some kind of pasta and tomato and ham. Dish, casserole, a fresh salad again, and still more wine.